If you're an RIA and you're working with a technology vendor and they get hacked, what happens? Well, now with Regulation S&P, legally in writing, they have to, and you have to have an agreement that says within 72 hours of them finding out that there's been a breach, you have to be notified. And then you have 30 days to tell your clients. Otherwise, there is a 7-figure plus fine waiting for you. And I know this sounds super crazy, but I'm going to go through what you actually need to know, why this is important, who is this actually impacting, so that way you don't have to deal with the potential doom and gloom of this fine. If you'd like to learn more about us, my name is Harrison Barron from Secure Wealth IT. We run a MSP, a managed service provider, helping RIAs make sure that we keep them up to date, whether it's cybersecurity, making sure their technology works, if it's onboarding, offboarding an employee, or your wireless doesn't work, and just making sure that if something does happen, it won't ever happen. And when the SEC comes looking to do an exam, you are going to pass with flying colors. If you head over to our website, securewealthit.com, there's a ton of information on there, who we help, how we actually help them. No surprise, we help RIAs. We have a ton of resources in our resources center, a blog, we have a finance calculator that's super cool, and you could go through. It's kind of the best of all worlds. And if you're on FMG Suite, we can even implement it on there as well, or you could play around with it. Or if you want to, you want to use it for your own uses, feel free. It is available at calculators.securewealthit.com, or check out the website. We appreciate you. So let's talk about what actually happened. Well, the SEC amended Regulation S&P in May of 2024. Super annoying that they keep changing things, but hey, the world is changing, AI is changing, and things are just moving in interesting directions. And this is the first big update in over 20 years. So it had to happen eventually. And the old rule was pretty loose, I'm not going to lie, right? The new rule has some real consequences to it. And there's 2 deadlines that you have to be aware of. If you are a RIA with $1.5 billion in assets or more, you had to comply by this by December 3rd, 2025. And trust me, if you reach out and you're not at that point, don't worry, I'm not snitching or anything like that, but it is something that you need to be aware of. If you're a smaller RIA, 1.5 billion or less, then you have until June 3rd, 2026, which conveniently is right around the corner. So the 72-hour rule, this is one of the things that I can almost promise is going to make a massive impact on, sadly, most RIA firms out there. And it is, as a RIA, you have to have in writing with your technology vendors. So that means all of your CRMs, it doesn't matter what you're using, if it's Wealthbox, if it's Redtail, your planning software, if it's eMoney or any of the other ones, your custodians, whatever it is, wherever client data is going to touch, it doesn't even matter if it's living, if it's touching, they have to have a new amended contract that says that that company is going to notify you, your RIA firm, within 72 hours of finding out. And the clock starts when they know, not when you know, when they know. The onus of proof is actually on them in many cases. When they know that there is a breach, they legally have to let you know within 72 hours. That's going to be the big thing. And it doesn't mean you're off the hook for anything. You then have 30 days to figure out who is actually impacted and let those people know, hey, this is what happened, this is who was hacked, and the problems or the breach that actually ended up taking place. That's one of the big things. So what does an RIA firm have to do by the end of this video? Or right after this video, I should say. First thing is you want to build an incident response program. An incident response program, and you can kind of get a template off of our website. I say kind of because you're going to have to tweak it, right? If you go to resources here, you can go through incident response plan. It's going to be available there. I'm working on my images. Please don't come after me. But you can go grab an incident response plan on our website and start taking that template and modifying it, massaging it, and using it. Right, and this is to make sure that it's a written policy to detect, to respond, and to recover from any unauthorized access. Right, it's a incident response plan. It's, hey, this is what's happening. How do we handle this problem? And it gets printed out. It lives in your office. You have to show physical proof that it is there. The second thing that you have to do is you have to vet and monitor every vendor. I know, it stinks, but you have to confirm in writing that they will give you 72-hour notice. You have to update the contracts, and you have to keep a copy of that. I promise you, the SEC has already said they are looking for this. They want it specifically. Just get it. Most cases, most of your vendors probably have it already. Just ping your point of contact over there or reach out to support. I guarantee you they're going to get it insanely quickly for you if they don't already have it. Next is you have to notify clients fast. Within 30 days of figuring out a breach happened or likely happened, you have to let them know. It stinks. It could be a phone call. Record that phone call to make sure that there is no questions asked. It could be an email. However smoke signal if you're into that type of thing. But you have to have it. And last but not least, you have to keep records for 5 years, with 2 of those years being easily accessible. And those 2 years specifically, when I say easily accessible, I mean within a few minutes you can locate that information. It might take you a little bit of sifting through things. Now, that 2 to 5 year mark is when data can get archived. Now, in our world, the technology world, we call it hot and cold storage. Basically, hot storage is, it's hot, it's plugged in, it's live, we can grab that data fairly quickly. We can search for it, find it, and grab it. In the cold storage, it's basically filed away permanently until we actually need to go get it, and then we reactivate it and look for that information. And this information should be saved in worm format. Write once, read many is what the worm stands for. It's a big fancy term in our world. You don't have to worry about it if you're working with a technology vendor. But if you don't have that, yes, you do actually need that. So let's talk about money, because money is crazy. And the SEC has hit firms for $1 million civil penalties for Regulation S&P violations, including Voya financial advisors. And if you guess Morgan Stanley, you would be right. Plus reputational damages. That's just the SEC. You're going to deal with reputational damages, you're going to deal with client loss, and you're going to have a near instant SEC audit trail request following that. And I promise they are going to be breathing down your neck fairly quickly. For smaller firms, even a smaller firm can be a business killer, because the reputation loss and the reputation damage and the client loss is going to be massive. On top of that, depending on how big the fine actually is, could be fairly expensive. So we just want to avoid it altogether. But let me give you some common mistakes, because I like to put my golden nuggets at the end. Using an old incident response plan that doesn't have the 30-day response or the 72-hour triggers is an immediate red flag. It means you haven't done anything. And I promise you, they are looking for it. If you go on any of the anything from the SEC as far as Regulation S&P goes, which they have said they are cracking down on this year, you are going to be in some hot water. And assuming your IT guy has handled it is probably another major red flag. If you don't have a conversation with them to say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, this is how we're doing it, you are probably going to be in some hot water. And start doing your homework now. If you don't have any documentation, you are not going to have the time necessary to get the documentation ready to avoid these headaches. So June 3rd is around the corner. I encourage you, if you are seeing this video today, you should do a couple different things. Pull your vendor list immediately. Every vendor that touches any bit of technology, or better yet, client information that is technology related, is on this list. Bar none, it should be on there. And even if they're not a technology vendor, although there's probably not too many, they still need to actually, if there is a breach, because maybe you mailed out things to them, whatever it is, you should have it there in writing. Send each one a written ask. Hey, will you commit to a 72-hour breach notification if they don't already? 9 times out of 10, your software vendors are already doing this to begin with. You want to update your incident response plan immediately. Make the amendments to it. Hey, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how we're going to be doing it. Train your team. And I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but run a tabletop drill. Hey, if we get a breach notification, what happens? Read through, go through the entire thing. Are there questions about it? They're not going to go in there and it's not a SWAT team and they're going to say, give me it right now, right? But in all reality, you should know. They might ask questions while they're there, or they might talk to employees, and the last thing that you want to have happen is, hey, you know what? They're on the phone or something like that, and somebody's chatting about something. I didn't know that. red flag, right? Just do your homework so that way it's not a fear going down the road. It's so much easier to stay ahead. The regulations aren't that crazy, and I promise you, if this is the worst that they can do right now, it's really not that bad. But this is specifically for Regulation S&P, and this is also just for the 72-hour commitment. There are some other aspects too, but I've covered a good chunk of them in here. But I promise you, they are looking and they are going to ask for those vendor agreements, or sometimes they're called BAAs, right? Business Associate Agreement, depending on how you word it out there. Just make sure it adds it. And even if you don't think that they have any information, just ask them to add it anyway. It'll give you peace of mind knowing, hey, they agreed to doing it. After that, it's the data's on them. If they don't tell you, then you don't know at the end of the day. It just makes life a lot easier for everybody else. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.